Hey everyone, and welcome to another video here on the Seanthesheepman channel. So today we're going to be having a look at some of the wildlife that we have on the farm. So if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button, leave us a comment and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Let's get into the video, guys. So in this video, guys, all the video footage of the animals you're going to see is footage that I've taken here on the farm, and I'll also put a stock image up at the end so you can see what they look like really up close. This is no way an exclusive list of the wildlife we have here on the farm. I've left out a lot of the more common things like corvids, gulls, songbirds, different rodents and things. These are some of the more interesting animals, but still animals that you have a chance of seeing when you come to Scotland, and they're definitely animals you can look out for and check off your bucket list while you're here. First animal on our list, guys, is something that you probably will run into if you're going to be driving on rural roads around about Scotland, and that is the pheasant. So pheasants are fairly common to be seen. You'll often see them in farm fields or pretty much anywhere in rural Scotland, and quite often you will see them sometimes splattered on the road itself. They are a game bird, and there are wild pheasants, but a lot of people also release pheasants for the purposes of hunting. You will quite often hear the males as they walk around, as a bit like a male rooster, they make a sort of crowing sound, and it can be quite loud. Second animal on this list you will not see unless you're out after dark, because it is nocturnal, but it is also one of my favourite animals. This is the hedgehog. So hedgehogs have spikes all over their back, and when they feel threatened they will curl up in a ball with those spikes facing outwards. However, I find these guys are pretty chill as long as you don't startle them, and you can see this guy's pretty comfortable with us walking around filming them. As the name suggests, these guys live in hedges and piles of sticks and thick brush, but they do often come and visit the garden. A common misconception is do not give them milk. Hedgehogs are lactose intolerant, and a lot of people think you should give them milk. Instead, if you want to give them something, give them some cat food. Now we're going to talk about deer. We have 4 different species of deer here in Scotland. We have sika, fallow, and then the 2 most populous deer are red deer, which are generally found on high ground in the Highlands, and we also have roe deer, and that's going to be number 3 in this list, the roe deer. Both roe deer and red deer are actually critically overpopulated in Scotland right now, and this is because most of our large predators went extinct, which means they have no natural predators, and in recent years human intervention has been needed to control the populations of deer in Scotland, and this is to prevent disease and destruction of habitat by overpopulation. So an interesting little fact: the movie Bambi was based on the book Bambi, which was wrote in the UK, and Bambi was originally wrote in as a roe deer, and when Disney made the movie they decided to change it to a white-tailed deer to make it more relatable for American audiences. Even though they're much smaller than the red deer, I included the roe deer on this list because you will see them out and about more often. Red deer generally stay to cover during the day, whereas you will see these guys out grazing in fields. Time for number 4 on this list, and Scotland's biggest and only species of wild dog, the red fox. Red foxes are another species that are mostly nocturnal, but you will see them early in the mornings and a couple hours before dark, and it's also another species which is overpopulated in some parts of Scotland, thought to be due to the same reason that they don't have any natural predators competing for their food sources, and they don't have any natural predators themselves. In recent years, foxes have become a problem in some cities and towns by becoming urbanised because of lack of habitat for the population, and human intervention has been needed to control the populations of red foxes. Now guys, Scotland has a lot of birds of prey, so we're going to have a look at the raptors as well, and we're going to start off with the most populous raptor in the whole of the UK, which is the common buzzard. So the buzzard has about a 4-foot wingspan. They're generally hovering birds, and you can tell them from that D-shaped wing and the way they circle around, and you'll quite commonly see them circling around like this. It's also fairly common to see buzzards perched on the top of fence posts, trees and utility poles. And also, interestingly, after heavy rains you'll see these buzzards jumping about in the fields, and what they're actually doing is catching worms after heavy rain. You'll see they have orange talons and the big wing, white part of the wing underneath. However, their colours on their back can vary from light to darker brown. So the second raptor I'm going to put on this list is the red kite. So like the buzzard is the most populous bird of prey in the United Kingdom right now, the red kite was actually the most populated bird about 200 years ago. However, because of persecution from hunting and habitat destruction, they almost disappeared from Scotland completely. But gaining a protected habitat and a protection on the bird itself, the numbers have been soaring in recent years, and we actually went from having one bird who we would see now and again on the farm to having 3 to 4 possible birds that we see almost every day now. So red kites, you can tell them fairly easily because of that V-shaped wing and that unique movement where they almost twist their body in the middle like a swivel. They also have about a 5.5-foot wingspan. And it'll be interesting to see how buzzard populations fare with these birds making such a big resurgence as they compete for the same food source. For the third bird of prey I'm going to put on this list, and it's another one of my favourite animals. This is the barn owl. The barn owl is another animal you will mostly see at night. It's pretty rare to see them hunting in a farm shed during the day like this. You'll generally see them perched on fence posts, trees or in old farm buildings, often when driving on country roads at night. And another little fun fact, barn owls are one of the only birds that can fly completely silently. Unfortunately, numbers have been dwindling in recent years, thought to be because of the use of poison to control pest rodent. We're going to finish this list off with one of the smallest birds of prey that you will find in Scotland, and that is the sparrowhawk. This bird doesn't just get its name from its small size, but also its amazing speed and manoeuvrability, hunting within wooded areas and using fast ambush and superior flying to catch its prey. And for me, this is probably one of the most impressive species of bird of prey on this list, because these birds will often take down prey in their own weight category, such as pigeons and crows. Anyway guys, there are some of the animals I commonly see around about the farm and you can look out for when you're here in Scotland. Remember to like the video, comment and subscribe. And that'll do it guys.